So today's topic is exploratory data analysis. Now, I do realize that quite a bit of exploratory data analysis is something that we have already done in in other topics. So today's discussion will restrict it only to the first 4 moments of business decision. All right, and in that context, I'll start away. I'll start firing away the Q&A, and my favorite person to rag, Sharat. So my first question is to start with you. So start off at a slightly lower gear. So Sharat, can you please tell me how much time do you typically spend on EDA? Now, before you answer the question, I'm aware that this is quite a subjective question, and different people have different things. But even though it is subjective, I would expect some kind of a ballpark figure, if you could give me, as to with your experience of the various number of projects you've done.
Thank you, Nitin. Good evening, everyone, and thank you all for showing the love. We'll keep trying to impart the knowledge for that we have accrued over the years. Directly jumping into the answer. Thank you, Nitin. And like you said, it is subjective. Yes, absolutely, it is subjective, and it typically depends on the data that we are dealing with. Of course, it is the volume of the data and the quality of the data. Both will have to play a crucial role in doing the EDA. Personally, I would look at the EDA as a univariate analysis. And this basically is done as part of the data understanding. Now, when I say data understanding, we are looking at the data from programming perspective. At the same time, as a data scientist, we have to map the data and try to understand what is it telling about the business. So the values that we get will speak some information at a very, very high level, preliminary level, if I take one column at a time. So the EDA process is going to be the crucial to understand what values or what data we are dealing with. Now, for me, typically, somewhere around in the entire value chain, the data understanding, data pre-processing is something which is going to be like 60 to 75% of the effort. And out of that, if I talk about EDA specifically, I would say around 15 to 20% of the time I spend only in EDA.
Okay, so again, Sharat has dodged the bullet by not giving me a duration answer, but in proportion. But that's definitely much better than most of the answers that I've got. So yeah, Barney, anything you'd like to add on the subject of EDA, the efforts spent on EDA vis-a-vis the general modeling and deployment?
Yeah, absolutely, Nitin. So I wish to take a slightly different angle. And I wish to say that we have two roles which people extensively talk about. One is data analytics, and another is data science. Given this, exploratory data analysis is part of data analyst job. Having said that, data scientist is also expected to perform that. And this exploratory data analysis, which is also called as descriptive statistics, is going to consume huge amount of your time, and businesses usually implement their decisions on these kind of inferences quickly, or in these kind of insights which are drawn quickly, as opposed to banking on predictive analytics. They majorly focus on descriptive analytics, insights, and they want to act upon it quickly, right? And approximately, as Sharat was rightly saying, 60 to 80% of the time is spent on the first two phases, which is business and data understanding and data preparation. Within data preparation, we have a major chunk called as exploratory data analysis, which usually complements data preparation processes or the steps that are involved in data preparation. Hence, both put together, I would say, would consume approximately 40% to 50% of the entire project work. Yeah,
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barney. Right. So once again, going back to Sharat, again, we are all aware. I'm not going to ask you what are the 4 moments of business decision. I think everybody is aware of that. My question is again on the moments of business decision. So what are all the steps that are most often used in the projects? Now, while you have taken the stand with reference to the automobile fuel efficiency prediction that we have discussed, but I'm looking at it more generically because our audience will be working on different projects. So you've worked with hundreds of projects. So what do you feel are the most popular moments of business decision that we necessarily need to look at when we are doing EDA on our data?
Yeah, Nathan. So, irrespective of the project work that we are working on, the domain that we're working on, when we talk about EDA, it can be classified into broadly two different analysis steps. One would be with respect to your numeric data analysis. The other one is with respect to the categorical data analysis. And when we talk about EDA, the business movements, like you said, there are 4 business movements. But for me, the first movement and second movement business decision becomes the most 2 crucial aspects. First movement, I look at it as basically it is giving me the information about the entire data set. If I talk about, for example, the fuel efficiency of the vehicle for a liter of fuel, for example. So when I look at, let's say, hundreds and hundreds of the values with respect to different cars, when I take that one specific feature, I want to understand what kind of information is that particular column telling me. If I talk about age of the vehicle, that is one of the feature as you. Now, these are numeric features, right? So age is a numeric feature. I have around 2,500 odd rows. This entire column or the feature is trying to represent what kind of vehicles is the business actually handling. So I cannot look at each and every column, right? So when I do EDA, the first movement is trying to give a representative value for the entire data set. That gives me a very high level gist of what is that we are working with in the first place. And the second movement business decision is basically talking about the variations that might be arising or anomalies that might come into the picture with respect to that one feature. For example, I might have exceptions in the data with respect to the age. So overall, what is the kind of variation that we see? So these are the 2 business movements, if you ask me, are going to be the most important things. Of course, the other 2 are also important, but we try to map those things along with the visualizations to take advantages of the third and fourth business movement.